My name's Zach Dingy. I run a solar sales company that does $100 million a year. And today I'm gonna rank 7 different trends to become successful in 2026. The big things I see on social media are like these trendy topics to how to become successful. And some of them have some truth to them, and some of them are just like kind of overrated and I think maybe for fun. But I'm gonna rank the 7 different trends on becoming successful in 2026. Number 1 is going to be buying online courses. This trend's been going on a while where pretty much everyone has an online course at this point, which there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm going to rate it on is it actually helpful for you to become successful? Doing this thing, is that actually going to help you make a lot of money or build a life you want? I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I think they have their value and their place. I think if you're paying $25,000 for an online course, that's a booklet or something that they're giving you or some kind of learning module system, probably overrated and probably not worth the money. Probably not going to make you successful by any means, but they are good stepping stones for basic information. It is helpful and they can be helpful. If maybe you're learning a specific task you're trying to figure out, like how to use Go High Level or how to build a funnel or something like that, those things can be helpful. But broad courses are just not really a very good value concept. The first course I ever bought, and I think actually the only, was Ty Lopez Social Media Marketing Agency. Back in 2018. This is when he was still doing the videos in his garage with the, this is my Lamborghini, but look at my bookshelf, that video. I bought his course for like $700. And it was actually pretty helpful. Back then, it was about how to run ads online and how to market on social media. And I think it was pretty damn good. Now, 10 years later or 7 years later, the market's convoluted with a million different course options. But back then, he was like the OG and the originator of those courses. And I did buy one of his courses for $700. And it did exactly what I said, which is in that beginning stage, early on, they can be helpful and they can really get you in the right direction. They're just not super, super valuable in the sense of like, you're gonna learn all these amazing things from them. So I rank buying online courses as a C tier. Second thing I'm gonna rank is a morning routine. This has been another thing that's been a trend for a couple of years now, and there's so many videos on the internet about what your morning routine should be and what certain people do when they wake up. I don't think morning routine matters nearly as much as people make it. Now, this is directly for becoming successful. If you want to be healthy and you want to live a happy and long life, maybe you can argue that this has more importance, but to directly correlate to success and creating money in the market and value in the marketplace, I think your morning routine has almost nothing to do with it. There's plenty of people that just wake up and get right to it, or they wake up and they just hit the gym and then they go and they don't do the ice bath and the reading and Bible study and quiet time and meditation. All of that stuff is just all outside work that doesn't actually make you the money. And so I think morning routines are way too overrated and you should do whatever fits you, but I don't think you should necessarily need to have some specific routine that's going to correlate to you becoming successful. I think your work schedule and a lot of other things like consistency, effort, strategy, time blocking, those things are going to matter way more for your success than your morning routine, which I'm rating at an F. Next thing is what I'm going to call time blocking / deep work. You see guys like Alex Hormozi talk about this kind of stuff all the time. I think that time blocking and doing deep work that actually moves your business forward is the best time you can spend. The analogy IPA, income producing activity. 80% of your time should be spent on income producing activities and 20% should be spent on miscellaneous things that have to get done, right? This is a struggle for a lot of people, including myself. It's very hard to do deep work and time block when your business is growing and changing and you need to be there and you don't have people in the right position. I struggle with this for a long, long time. But I know that when I do the deep work and when I time block and do things that I need to do to move the business forward, it makes massive changes in the business. So now that I've been running this company for almost 7 years now, and we have multiple managers and different people who can run the company, it gives me a lot more free time to work on the business rather than in the business. And I think as a CEO or a sales leader or a founder, your end game goal is eventually to be able to do the deep work and the time block stuff. In the beginning stages, it's very hard to do that, but later on, should get easier and easier, and you should do that more and more so that you can truly drive the growth of the business. So I'm ranking that as an S tier. You should strive to get to that point where the majority of your time is spent on work like that. Similar to stuff like this. This could be content. It could be mastering a CRM. It could be creating some new branding for the business. It could be so many different things, but it is the large major leverage movers that create huge growth in your business. Here's some tips on time blocking. Number one, I think time blocking should be done earliest in the day. It should be the first thing you do. For example, we're shooting this content. This content starts at 8:30 and ends at 12. I do 3 hours every Thursday of shooting content. And it's the first thing I do when I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And I don't let any other distractions or things happen that take my mind off the deep work. I think that's the problem you run into a lot is you get distracted, and that's why you don't do it. So big tip is do it first in the day. Schedule times that are standing times in your calendar to do it every week, every month, whatever your timeline is for you. And then the last part is have other people involved if you can. So you're always going to be able to be more disciplined if another person's included rather than typically just yourself. And so hire other people, schedule other people, do the work with other people, whatever it is. It could be meeting up with a friend at a coffee shop, and you have to go meet there with them. And then when they're sitting there working on their computer, you have no choice but to work on yours. Or like this for content, hire somebody, pay money, have them show up to the studio with cameras. You're probably going to have to shoot content because you don't have a choice. I'm going to rank that as an S tier. Next one is a nightly routine. So we talked about the morning routine, which is very, very low on the list. Now we're going to talk about a nightly routine. I think nightly routine is way more important than your morning routine. Why? Because in the morning, you're typically not going to wake up in the morning and start making stupid decisions like drinking or going out to and partying or smoking or doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. Usually your lack of discipline comes later in the day. Like you stay up too late, you eat snacks, you drink alcohol, you go out, whatever those things are happen later in the day. So I think it's very, very important that you actually have a nightly routine compared to a morning routine. What is my nightly routine? 5 days out of 7 days in a week, I'm usually at home, sitting on the couch with my computer open, me and my fiance sitting down, usually something's playing in the background, and I'm either creating a piece of content, scheduling out my day for the next day, knocking things out of my email inbox, or I'm doing something that's just kind of like a start to the day before the next day. And I'm sitting there calm, relaxed. I'm not out running around. I am sitting on my couch relaxing, ready to be asleep by 10:30. And so if I do that every day, every night, I set myself up for success the next day. And that's way more important to me than a morning routine. The night before, I think, matters a whole lot more than what you do when you wake up in the morning. So the nightly routine, I'm rating at an A tier. And I suggest everyone actually focuses on that to make you successful, because the thing with the nightly routine and becoming successful as a whole is a lot more of minusing out the bad things and adding the good things. Like if you just don't do certain things, your calendar opens up and then you have more time for the things you want to do, but it starts with subtraction before addition, if that makes sense. So the nightly routine is subtracting the bad habits to then allow time or allow space for good ones instead of trying to create good ones without minusing out the bad ones. So anyway, nightly routine, A tier. Next one is locking in. I see this all the time on social media now, talking about you got to lock in, you got to lock in, you got to lock in. It's like the common thing to say now. I feel like in our office and on social media, it's like, bro, you got to lock in. And I just don't know what that means. That's the part that is difficult to me, is like, I get the concept. Like, oh, you got to take it serious. You got to start putting in more work. You got to get in the gym. You got to work harder. You got to make your money, all that. But I don't know if there's actually any validity to it. Like, I don't like saying these broad terms that don't actually mean anything and that don't actually create anything for you. So when someone says lock it in, does that mean you're going to work more now? Does that mean when you say you're going to lock in, does that mean you're going to make more money? Does that mean you're going to go to the gym more? Does that mean like what does that actually mean to me or to you? So locking in theory, sounds great and is good, but I would like to know what it actually means when you're locking in. Like, how about you just create new habits and focus on a habit? Or how about you create a goal and focus on the goal? Start a new job or start a new career or start a new business or go to a new gym or get a girlfriend and stop partying. Like, those to me are tangible things that you can create happen. The terminology locking in and the overarching point of it just doesn't really make that much sense to me, and it doesn't have enough context and like specificness to actually, I think, matter for your success. And I feel like a lot of times you hear the same people saying over and over again that they're going to lock in because they don't actually lock in. So to me, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, and I'm putting it in the middle. I don't think you need to lock in to be successful. I think you have to do certain habits consistently over a long enough period of time that are the right movements and aim points that make you successful. So locking in, B tier. Next one is waking up early. Now, there are plenty of people in this world who are successful who do not wake up early. And so I think if you went back in time, I think it was much more important to wake up early than it is today. The general populace worked at certain hours and didn't work at other hours. It was very, very black and white and rigid. I think today, you can work whenever the hell you want at any point in the world because we're all so connected. So you can be on live stream or shooting content or working while other people on the other parts of the world are, and you could do Zoom calls with people in California if you're in New York, or you do Zoom calls with people in India or wherever, because we're all so connected. It's really not that important anymore. Yes, can it help you? Yes, can it set you on the right track for success, and can you it can push you and create more space in the day and more hours? But there are plenty of people who don't wake up early and still are wildly successful because they work later in the day. I don't think it's a correlation. I think the correlation is how many working hours are you doing and what are you working on? Not what time did you wake up and what time did you go to bed. So waking up early, I'm shooting at a B tier because I don't think it's as important as people think it is, and it's not going to really directly make you successful, but it can help. So I think waking up early is also like a B tier. Last trend I have is designing your space for productivity. If you guys follow certain people like Alex Hormozy, he talks about like, just get the work done. Don't worry about where you are, what you're doing. His workspace used to be in a closet with no light, no windows, no nothing. He would wear headphones and just sit and work. Yes, can you get a lot done like that? But sustainability and long-term effectiveness of that is probably not great. And at the end of the day, if you're making money, how many things can you really spend money on? I like to, if I'm in my workspace a lot, I want to be in a nice environment. I'm not saying that you need to go crazy, but I also think it's helpful to set your space up for productivity and the design you like and to make it yours, because then you want to spend more time there. And if you spend more time working, you'll probably make more money. So I think making your space aesthetically pleasing and something you enjoy is a very, very good thing to do because it makes you want to be there more. It makes you feel more productive. It makes you feel better. And all of those things, it's like, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. And if you play good, it typically pays good. So that's kind of how I think about it. Like, the more you like your space, the more you're there, the more you're happier you are, the more you enjoy it, most likely the more money you're going to make. I actually think this is an A tier. I put this high up on the list because you're going to spend a lot of time in this place. That is my 7 kind of current trends of what's going on right now on social media and if they're actually helping you be successful or not. I think there's only a certain amount of things that truly make you successful, and everything else is just kind of the noise. There's an absolutely amazing video with Steve Jobs talking about signal and noise. And noise is all this other stuff that you could be focusing on that's not the actual work that's making you successful. And signal are the things that you can focus on that are actually driving the work. So if you've been in business for more than a couple of years now, I really challenge you to define what are those two things for you. What are the signals and what are the noises? Typically that noise list is very, very long, and you should do everything in your power to put other people in positions to run that noise. And then you should do everything in your power to spend the most time on your signals. So that's everything I have for you for the trends. If you feel like I'm wrong or disagree, or you think one of these has made you wildly successful and it's important and I missed it out, please leave a comment below and let me know. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video.